Do you know the prophet who tried to run away from God but was swallowed by a huge fish? This incredible story from the Bible teaches us about God's mercy and forgiveness. Even for those we might think are beyond redemption, our tale begins with a man named Jonah, a prophet of God. One day, God gave Jonah a seemingly impossible task to go to Nineveh, the most wicked city on earth, and warn them of God's judgment. But Jonah had other plans. He didn't want to help these evil people. So he decided to run away from God's command. Jonah boarded a ship heading in the opposite direction of Nineveh. He thought he could escape God's presence, but little did he know that God had a big surprise waiting for him. As the ship sailed across the sea, a violent storm suddenly rose. The sailors were terrified, thinking their ship would sink. They discovered that Jonah was the cause of their trouble. In a moment of bravery and guilt, Jonah told them to throw him overboard to calm the sea. As soon as they did, the storm stopped. But God wasn't finished with Jonah yet. In an extraordinary turn of events, God sent a massive fish to swallow Jonah whole. Can you imagine being inside the belly of a fish? For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah was trapped in complete darkness. It was in this moment of desperation that Jonah finally turned to God in prayer. Emotional emphasis from the depths of the fish's belly, Jonah cried out, "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me." God heard Jonah's prayer and commanded the fish to spit him out onto dry land. This was Jonah's second chance to obey God's command. With renewed determination, Jonah set out for Nineveh. When he arrived, he delivered God's message. In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. To everyone's surprise, something incredible happened. The people of Nineveh, from the king to the lowest citizen, believed God's warning. They repented of their evil ways, fasting and putting on sackcloth as a sign of their sorrow. God saw their genuine change of heart and decided to forgive them. He spared the city from destruction, but this turn of events didn't sit well with Jonah. He became angry that God showed mercy to the very people he considered enemies. Jonah's reaction reveals a profound truth about human nature. Sometimes, we struggle to accept God's forgiveness for those we deem unworthy. Jonah cared more about his own pride and prejudices than the lives of 120,000 people in Nineveh. To teach Jonah a valuable lesson, God caused a plant to grow quickly. Providing shade for the sulking prophet, Jonah was grateful for the plant's comfort, but the next day God sent a worm to destroy the plant, leaving Jonah exposed to the scorching sun. When Jonah complained about the plant's destruction, God used this moment to reveal a powerful truth. He asked Jonah, "You cared about this plant, which you did not tend or make grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. Should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh?" This question challenges not just Jonah, but all of us. It forces us to confront our own biases and limitations when it comes to forgiveness and mercy. God's love extends far beyond our human understanding, reaching even those we might consider beyond hope. The story of Jonah reminds us that God's mercy is available to all who genuinely turn to Him. It doesn't matter how far we've strayed or how wicked we've been. God's forgiveness knows no bounds. Jonah's journey also teaches us about second chances. Despite Jonah's initial disobedience, God didn't give up on him. Instead, He provided a way for Jonah to fulfill his calling, even if it took a detour through a fish's belly. As we reflect on this ancient tale, we're challenged to examine our own hearts. Are there people in our lives we struggle to forgive? Do we sometimes run from God's calling because it seems too difficult or goes against our personal desires? Jonah's story shows us that no matter how far we run, God's mercy can always bring us back. It encourages us to embrace God's boundless love and extend that same forgiveness to others, even when it's challenging. So the next time you feel like running away from a difficult task or withholding forgiveness, remember Jonah. God's mercy is big enough for everyone, including you and those you might consider undeserving. Let's strive to see others through God's eyes of compassion and be agents of His forgiveness in this world. Subscribe for more content.